Out of the many films that I have watched, here are some films that I would consider to be a great double feature because of how much I feel that they have in common. And in this video, I will not be spoiling any of the films I'm going to be talking about. And without further ado, let's begin. Phantom Thread and Spencer. Now, if I look at it in terms of plot or characters, these films vary, but both films have this elegance and grace to them that feel very similar. Phantom Thread is a film about a dress designer, and so the dresses in that film have this special and meticulously detailed quality about them, and that sumptuous nature is shared with the film Spencer, where Princess Diana's dresses also stand out, which works well in alienating her from her surroundings, which plays a part in her internal conflict. The visual look of the two films also resemble one another. The lighter colors stand out, giving both films a soft look, without the colors being too vibrant or dull. Plus, the composer of both films is Johnny Greenwood. Phantom Thread and Spencer are masterpieces in their own right, and here's why I think they would make for a great double feature. The Shining and The Lighthouse. Both horror films are about its characters experiencing odd and unexplainable scenarios that eventually drive them mad. I briefly talked about both these films in my video where I talk about some of my favorite films that contain the theme of loneliness in them. In the filmmaking department, both of these films have a camera of an omnipotent nature that's always carefully and precisely gliding through the locations and characters, giving this inhumane quality to them that only makes the tone and setting more creepy and unsettling. We don't know what's going to happen to the characters and where the story is going to go. The music and cinematography portray this foreboding atmosphere, giving us a hint as to whether whatever is going to happen isn't going to end well for the characters, but it's not so apparent. The uncertainty of it plays a major role in terrifying us as an audience. These two films are some of, if not the best films in their genre, in my opinion. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and Licorice Pizza. Both of these films are siblings in a way, born from the hearts and minds of talented directors in their 50s. It almost feels like Tarantino and Anderson are attempting to relive a bygone era of a time where and when they grew up. That's why their work feels so personal, in terms of tone and presentation style. Both of these films hit similar beats. There is no proper plot or character arcs, no nuanced themes that are explored. It uses the medium of film to simply depict the mood and vibe of a specific period of time in history. It does this through the use of exquisite production design and music from that era to really immerse us into the time and place the film wants us to live and breathe in. Again, both films aren't particularly about anything, it's just two filmmakers expressing themselves by reminiscing over the past. The Batman and Seven. From the trailers of The Batman itself, people began to draw similarities to David Fincher's masterpiece Seven. Both films are about detectives attempting to solve a series of murders and figuring out who the culprit is and how to catch him. And in this attempt, our main characters are revealed to darker truths that they were not prepared for. In Seven, they realize just how dark, filthy, and inhumane their city really is, and how it can drive people within it to take actions that are beyond what can even be possibly considered as sane. Whereas in The Batman, the main characters come to the realization of how widespread the corruption in the city of Gotham is. The tone of both films are gritty, the frame feels dirty in order to reflect the inner turmoil of the setting and characters. The use of shadows increases the contrast, which gives both of the films a unique look, which goes perfectly well with the tone that they're trying to achieve. One is a dark murder mystery, and the other is a comic book movie that does not at all look or feel like the ones we have become accustomed to. The Batman draws obvious parallels to Seven, but it only uses this to elevate its own material. Both films have been inspirational to me in my own pursuit in filmmaking, and I cannot wait to see what David Fincher and Matt Reeves have in store for us next. Whiplash and Black Swan. These two films are extremely similar in the themes that they explore, which is that of an obsessed artist. Whiplash is about a drummer, whereas Black Swan is about a ballerina. Both of the protagonists fear mediocrity and are extremely passionate about each of their respective crafts. But what makes their films interesting is how far they are willing to go to achieve what they really want. Both characters become so obsessed with perfecting their skill that it leads them down a path of self-destruction, not just physical, but they begin to make an internal change deep down that is not for the better. They destroy their old selves, and this process of self-destruction leads them to descend into madness. Both Whiplash and Black Swan are masterpieces that pose the philosophical question: what does it take to be great? To achieve perfection? Can it be achieved in the first place? And in this process makes for two of some of the best films I've ever seen. Her and Lost in Translation. The respective directors of both films are Spike Jonze and Sofia Coppola, who were once married, and these two films are 10 years apart. I mean, I just thought it's a cool fact because of how eerily similar these two films are. In terms of whatever the plot of these films can be called, they're eerily similar to one another in terms of their themes and filmmaking style. The films are very subjective. This subjectivity allows us to get into the headspace of the main characters and understand and feel their internal loneliness, which is the theme the films explore. The characters feel alienated with their surroundings, they feel like nobody amongst this vast setting. Her and Lost in Translation show us the beauty of the flawed nature of humanity and how we as humans can find solace and comfort in each other's presence, be it someone you know or even a stranger. It's about people feeling home with the people they care about rather than the place they're situated in. So yeah, these are some of the double features that I could think of. This video isn't a ranking of any sorts. I just love all of these films extremely and I'm really happy that I got to talk about them through this video. Thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe, you know what to do. And just have a great day.